Hello, and welcome to this lecture entitled Note Citations versus Bibliographic Entries. This lecture is designed as a quick reference for understanding the differences between footnote type citations and bibliographic entries based on the style sheet we use in history classes, Turabian's Note Bibliography style. You probably know that there are two basic styles of citations: the author date style and the notes bibliographic style. I suspect you've been drilled on the author date style because it dominates in English classes as the MLA style and in social sciences as the APA style. Author date style uses in-text citations composed of the author's last name, the date of the work, and possibly a page number, all enclosed in parentheses. To find out what source this citation refers to, you have to look at the works cited page, which we also call a reference list. In the author date style, the in-text citation makes no sense without the reference list. They are completely linked together. Author date citations came about to solve the problem of placing footnotes at the bottom of a page with a typewriter. Doing so was so difficult that professional typists even used plastic page holders with measurements to show them where to stop typing text so they'd still have room for footnotes. It was truly a pain in the neck. Historians, however, use what Turabian calls the notes bibliography style. That is, historians never abandoned full and subsequent citations. They did solve the typing problem by switching from footnotes to endnotes, but word processing programs allow us to revert back to footnotes. In this notes bibliography style, footnotes or endnotes are distinct from the bibliography, and in the case of short papers, article length or shorter, historians don't use bibliographies. The notes themselves take the readers to the sources. Why, you may ask? Do you have to do a bibliography if short papers don't need them? Because this is a methods class, and I'm obliged to teach you how to do all the things needed for a good paper. In Turabian's notes bibliography style, note citations, whether they're footnotes or endnotes, are self-contained and are understandable without reference to the bibliography. Like I said before, the bibliography is superfluous in short papers, but you have to do one because of the nature of this class. Note citations link readers to the sources of information in a particular sentence or paragraph. Therefore, you arrange note citations under consecutive numbers, 1, 2, 3, through whatever, according to which sources apply to which particular sentence or paragraph. You can have multiple citations in any footnote. It's just fine to separate the citations with a semicolon. My advice about how to arrange a compound footnote is this: by the order of information in the paragraph. That is, information in the first sentence of a paragraph means that source citation appears in the footnote first, the second sentence's information appears second, and so on. Turabian writes in the 9th edition, section 16.1.2, that a note citation is meant to be read like text. So use commas and parentheses according to her rules, closing the completed note with a period. As for bibliographies, they are alphabetical lists of sources. Now, Turabian allows you to omit some sources, like newspaper articles, and to add other sources that influenced you but you did not cite. However, unless you're writing a book for the University of Chicago Press, you should include every source you cited, but do not include any sources you did not cite. Back to the bibliography. The bibliography is for the convenience of the reader, so we alphabetize all entries, regardless of where they appeared in the paper, by author's last name or by the first major word in the title. This means that the author's names are reversed. The last name comes first. If there's more than one author for a source, reverse only the first author's name. Also, when alphabetizing by title, where the source has no author, skip the words a, an, and the. We call these words articles. Alphabetize by the first major word in the title, leaving a, an, and the in place. Yeah, it looks weird, but no system is perfect. Because the bibliography is a list, we punctuate bibliographic entries by separating their elements with periods and removing all parentheses, except in one or two cases. See Turabian chapter 16 and 17 for details. Now I'm giving you a comparison here. And in this comparison, I've cropped the page margins to maximize the surface area. And I've converted all footnotes to endnotes so you can see how note citations and bibliographic entries look side by side. This does not change the citation formatting to convert from footnotes to endnotes. Examine the note citations to the left. You see that Endnote 1 contains two sources, one by John Moore and another by Jules Michelet. Now look on the right in the bibliography for Moore and Michelet. They don't appear because the image only goes as far as the letter J. This paper has 25 sources and I couldn't fit them all into a single image, but I wanted to bring your attention to why you wouldn't see Moore and Michelet listed. You'll see something interesting in Endnotes 1 through 4. The author cites no specific page numbers. That's because all of these sources are for his historiography. So he's citing entire works instead of specific places in the works. This includes footnote 4 as well, in which he's citing all of the inclusive pages of the article. He could have been more precise, but the way he wrote his paragraphs, he didn't actually need to be. Now, by comparison, look at Endnote 5. Where the author did cite specific pages 121 through 141 and 142 through 157. Look at the formatting of the note citation. These are displayed as endnotes, of course. You see the author's names are in direct order and the elements are separated by commas or parentheses. Now, look over at the right, the bibliography. All of the sources are listed alphabetically by author's last name, except the Journal de Paris, which is listed by the title, but is in the right place. That's the very last entry. Study the differences with the knowledge that the note citations perform a different function from the bibliographic entries. That difference explains why we use different formatting for each. Remember, finally, that correct formatting for note citations and bibliographic entries are visual clues to your reader about what kinds of sources you've used. Correct formatting, though tedious, also says something about your ethos as a historian. If you get the details correct, readers will cut you some slack in believing your interpretation of the evidence. That is, they'll trust you to get it right when they see you're paying attention to the details. This ends the lecture, and as always, thanks for your attention.